No, Corey, that is showiness. You can't say that.
So she walk with backup to fight with. A stick fighter. Welcome to episode 141 of the Corey Shepherd podcast. The first video in about 60-something videos that have no... What is this? Video or audio or drinking? The first audio you're seeing without video in a while, right? And I have guesses, right? We have some guests. People bring people to fight me. Imagine this.
That is correct.
You see, I'm very, very nervous here because they put me furthest from the door. Both of them block the door, and then they tell me the person they bring is a stick fighter. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm very nervous. And I just listened to a song coincidentally from a fellow named Mr. Shaq. Salute Mr. Shaq, who come out with a new set of Bois song and Bois people who is wear yellow and he have on yellow. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be like. But with me, I have, you all heard me talk about before. Let me talk about the woman who bring man to beat me first, right?
Wow.
I have with me here Marsha Messiah. Where you going, Marsha? You good?
I got it.
Yeah, so to talk soft now. You see what you think? You know what I mean?
You're home. Talk soft before they get wild.
I would like to say that Marsha is from the Brooklyn Caribbean Literary Festival, but in Trinidad she says she's home. And in fact, she's a Brooklynite and she's not from here, which shall be proven today, right? You know what I mean? And I want to let you know too that I'm the only person with headphones, so I don't know what I'm pressing, right? Them don't know what I'm pressing and things. So it's like
sound effects. It's level sound effects.
Hopefully it's...
If the man called for that, play it. Whatever happened.
Yeah.
So I told you all before that I produce a podcast for the BCLF, the Cocoa Pod podcast. So Marsha is finally here. Marsha, welcome. It's been too long.
Thank you. You know, the first time I saw you, you was walking the hallways of UE, looking very studious.
Studio. I thought you were going to say looking good. Studious, okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Let me hear.
Cock bottom.
All right, we editing. Wow. With the dumb button.
With a proper sharp line up. And I was like, I need to be like him. This fella is moving between classes like fast and furious.
Well, when you can't be smart, you have to look smart. You know, you can't allow them to do it to you. And Marsha has walked with somebody. I want to tell you, the person have many hats, right? Let me start with the name, right? Keegan Taylor. Where are you going, Keegan? This is making me very nervous.
You hear that?
Dead bury me close. When a dead bury me close. What quattro? When a dead bury me close. Don't want nobody to cry for me. When a dead bury me close. Put everything in the cemetery. When a dead bury me close. Wear my shirt and don't wear my tie. When a dead bury me close. Don't forget tell me mama don't cry.
I tell you, we didn't need a drum.
You did say so. Man really say so. You know?
Yeah,
we say we need a single instrument.
The vocals them banging.
The man say it's a Bois Man. You know? The man says a Bois Man cultural aficionado. You know what I mean? And a marketing man like myself too. There's a lot of similarities. A marketing man, a man of the culture, a man of the bois. We're recording this on a day with a stick fight
tonight.
Stick fight tonight, right?
Yeah,
Prelims?
Prelims up in the... Yeah, man. So, yeah, it's good to be here. Thank you. And I'll just clear the ad. Marsha didn't invite me to bust your head.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so you can relax.
But it's a PRN bus head, as we say in the medical industry. It's like you use it when you need it.
Oof.
There's a PRN bus.
Well, I would say, seeing that she's brought me here, whatever she says goes. So let's just hope that we don't have a need for that. You know?
So this is the wrong thing is what you're saying then. Is a warning.
We can't see us. We drinking something too. We can say that, right? We drinking something.
We drinking something,
so
yes.
If you know the drinks get wild, well, all right.
Only the man that show me his scars from the stick fight and thing to the man that show me, because I always thought, right, when I look at stick fighting, I always wonder how much of stick fighting is a dance and a play because I in it for the music, right? So I always used to wonder how real it is. How real it is to you. Is it real stick hitting man or is Zandoli stick fight and play kind of thing?
Well, I did show you a few injuries, not all.
Right.
But the truth about it is anytime you have somebody who in front of you who sending a stick at a velocity faster than a wind ball, you know, it will hurt you.
Right.
But the thing about our tradition is we call dance and fight. So the essence of the movement, which seems like a dance, is really part of the It's such a wide story, but I'll just keep it simple and say it is part of the deceptive element. It is the festive and rhythmic aspect of our African culture to integrate dance and fight. Right? I don't want to say the Western tradition is such that it doesn't have that, because that's not true either. Many fight cultures have rhythm and dance in it. As a matter of fact, I'm also a martial art practitioner, and many martial art systems, your sensei will tell you go and learn to dance. You know, maybe even Latin dance, how to move in timing with somebody. So in our African tradition, dominated by the drums make you move, and then you move to suit to the drums, and then attack. So we call it dance and fight. Right? It also mirrors life. You know what I'm saying? We dancing every day. We dance through the elements of life. I dance through traffic to reach here. You know what I mean? So there's the dance, but in the dance and being beautiful, I don't know how to switch it on and turn and hit you and defend and breaks. And for me, my journey in life right now as it mirrors stick fight is I'm not a heavy practitioner in the gayelle these days, but my mission for me right now is to take the learnings of the many years of fighting and endangering my life for fun. It's real fun. Is it? Yeah, for real. Let me tell you why it's fun. And I did my thesis on this. The name of my thesis for you, it was why do we play? And one of the most, you could get profound reasons. Oh, it's rebellion. And it's a rebellious thing from the ancestors and blah, blah, and all that. But the truth is, many stick fighters tell you kind of like it. You know what I mean? It's a feeling you get when the drums hit you and everybody watching you and you at your best self and you hitting a man as hard as you can hit him and you breaks in a stick and the crowd going wild. That is very euphoric, man. Like there isn't a lot of things as fun as putting yourself on the line when you're prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what all of these extreme sports are about. It's that dopamine rush that we get from the phone these days. You get from real life interaction. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because you say you didn't train. So you say you ain't participating this year because you ain't trained. So that's why I was thinking to myself, I said, well, how much you had to train if all you're going to dance around and pretend to hit one another? So I'm going to tell you something. I have scars in different places, particularly the head. Well, one scar in the head from one dread bus head. Go for the head? It went for headshots. But sometimes we're closer. You have a few parts of your head that's sensitive, including your brain, Sure. But there's also your eyes, right? So if I'm playing a game where I could lose my eye, where many men have lost their eyes in time, you can't be going in there just so, right? So you have to train and say, if your car breaks, don't play. Today's the day, boy. If your car breaks, don't play. If your car breaks, I stick. You're going to lose your eye. If you lost your finger, don't cry. If you lost your eye, don't cry. So I'm trying to lose the eye now, boy. So you got to train. If your car breaks, don't play. Like, that's something that we actually apply to life. That's life. Right? It's become one of those things that we say. Like, what do other cultures say? If you're don't come in the kitchen if you can't take the heat. Of course. Don't come in the bar if you can't take powder, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's literally like telling you, prepare yourself or be prepared for the space that you're in. And I take this stuff on so many levels. You know what I'm saying? Like, we live in China right now. We're on this planet. We're blessed to be here on this planet. There's some things going on here that feeling wrong, but this is what it means to be on this plane of existence right now. So you gotta wake up and make up your mind to play the game and dance the dance. See why I bring the man for you? Yeah. You're looking good, Marsha. So I have more questions. Talk to me. I have a little son in karate about a yellow belt. I'm about a yellow belt for 25 years now. I want to hear I say so, right? It's the longest yellow belt in the history of karate, right? But when they're sparring, they have this point system they do. Is it the same with stick fighting? How it go? How you know who win the bout? Is it who so you have two types of fighting. You have the traditional element where just two men just engage each other. There's no rules to the engagement like you you and Marsha next, and then me, and it's not like that. The drums playing is a highly spiritual, energetic kind of thing. So when I feel to step in the ring, I will step in, and a man who want to fight me, if the drum hit him, and he walk in, he will fight me. And the fight, we're really going for busted and who draw blood first. Okay. That is the intent of the game. Right. However, a fight could win just by if I dominate you, or the crowd love me more because of how I do something. You know what I mean? Like I could lose a fight and still be loved by the crowd because people like how I dance. Or oh, red man, you get through, boy. Don't worry, next time you'll get them and everybody like you.
Right.
Because maybe you lost the fight due to someone fair play and whatever have you. People like how you dance and you fight in between. But the thing about it, anybody could get cut. Just like anybody could die. Mm-hmm. So like I wouldn't if I watch somebody and I feel like I'm dominant over them, forget stick in a general sense, in a fist to fist or whatever, you might tell yourself that you are stronger, you've been training, you went to the gym last night so you could beat up this man, so to speak. Right. But this man could hit you a lucky blow as a human being in your throat. Yeah, and that just happened to be a place where you vulnerable because you drink coffee last night and your throat hot and you're dead. Mm-hmm. It kind of like takes into consideration that we're all men. We're all human, we're all men, women, we're all equal in this gayelle space. I might have... So, recognizing that equality, and once you recognize that equality, now you start to think, okay, I need to not be equal. I need to do something to elevate myself. So, in three of us here equal, I might say, to be greater than you, I might study a book or read something or get a gun or, you know, it's just... It equalizes, yeah. So in stick, people do things to get edges. Right, which is our next conversation as well. But I mean, it comes down to that. Once you're in the gayelle, we are all in one equal space. We all could bleed, and that human recognition, I believe, is very important. We could all bleed.
I don't like that,
and it's powerful. No, because
I also hear something else though. I hear the importance of community. Because talk about. Yes, they're the two stick fighters. I'm assuming that they're female stick fighters. If we have the equal opportunity, but
there's back then and then there's now as well. Right? Yeah.
So I hear that, but I also hear the role of the audience, who are really central to the performance. Who are very central because a stick fighter is egged on, right? A stick fighter is loved, and so what I love most about it, in addition to just being the continuation of a story and of a tradition that has survived time and the laws and all of the things that were actually designed to stifle it, it's a space where people come alive and people are in community with each other and people celebrate and remember, because it seems like if the spectators, just crowd participation, that's a huge piece for the
definitely is. Community is so important. In any community, in any tradition, but especially in our Afro tradition, I could tell you loads of things that point to me that as African people, community is an important part of who we are. And what that means is a lot of things. Like when I started studying stick fight, I kind of went at it from a very anthropological perspective. I went in like a nerd. You know, I didn't go in, I want to be the strongest thing. Now I went to learn the thing and study it. And so we were going around and asking different elders in the village certain things, and people would send you in a roundabout. And I realized after that many people come into the villages like Maruga and somebody says asking questions, you know, and people just come from the States, from Australia asking questions. And what these old people do is they'll give something, a version of the truth. And then they'll tell you something today. And if you stick around 2 months or 2 years later, you'll hear a different version of what they tell you two years ago. You know what I mean? So you have to become part of the community, and then there's an oral tradition aspect to it. So you know, like if people ask me certain things, like literally right now, I have people in my phone from different parts of the world who say they come in Trinidad and they want to talk to me. If you're hearing me now, you're going to hear wine and say it back here.
Because he's here drinking.
Yeah, I drink it up. Well, first of all, I know Marsha, right? So Marsha bring me here and I'm talking because Marsha tell me talk, right? But at the end of the day, we don't just open up your mouth because you send a message from WhatsApp and you have a +44 on your phone. That worse yet, because who's you? Right? And we work real hard and nearly dead for what I know.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So
how do we bring that forward, Keegan? Because you're young, right? And the tradition, years ago I would have said it's dying. I think it's at risk. I think there's a lot that was lost. But how do we preserve that? How do we get... And there's a huge sense. Corey, you said you wanted to go. My cousin went last year. There is a renewed interest among members of our generation and the younger generation. And we can't look at all the things that we've lost before. We have to work to preserve what we have right now. Like, how do we make that novel? How do we make it relevant? How do we not... Because I feel like the ones who are older now, maybe they got 15 to 20 more years and they are walking encyclopedia. As in, because this is oral tradition based, and there are a few writers like Willie Chen who wrote one story about the stick fight. Like a lot of this is going to be lost when these practitioners close their eyes. How do we work to get that into the annals, not just of our history, but into the pages of our story, like written there forever, and then ensure sustainability of the art, so that 100 years from now, if we were to come back as ghosts, we can see that this thing did not die.
Well, I'll tell you, as a storyteller myself, I'm a songwriter, I'm a filmmaker, and I could only do what I could do. I will answer that question from me. So I'll tell you what I'm doing. And what I'm doing, let's talk about music. We wrote, tell them all you stink and dirty, hoi, dum 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 dum, oh yeah. You know?
You gotta keep in mind it's Friday. You can't just bring that out. I mean, come on.
Do freedom.
You gotta give you a warning.
Just run for your life. Do freedom. DC. Aye.
First of all, can we clear with the lyrics? Can we clear those lyrics?
Let me hear.
Can you say it for our
So here the thing with this, right? I wrote this song, but I sometimes find myself.
Holy Faith. Like, what is that? I know.
Holy Faith? No, it's not Holy
Is
Faith.
it Holy Faith?
Faith.
Holy
Holy
Faith.
Faith.
I know it's Holy
As a
Faith,
stick
but I would
fight
like
chant,
you
right?
to tell people
Holy
what
Faith,
the-
right? So
No, wait, before I get into that, right? This is
for
a...
children is Olive.
Well, I'll tell you something about Marsha, right? Before we go too deep into this. Marsha is somebody who... You see that idea of documenting? It's something you talk a lot about, right? And being from a place where it's about writers and putting Caribbean stories together. For anybody who listens to Cocoa Pod, understand the vision for what that is, right? And as the producer of the podcast, I didn't understand for a while. And the stories just seem so unrelated. I was trying to figure out what bringing this thing together. And it took me a while to recognize that we have a documenting problem in the region. And Marsha talks about this a lot. And one of my issues with stick fight songs, I was introduced to stick fight songs through Parang, coincidentally. Because when you go paraming and these things, you play traditional Christmas type parang, right? But the first time a man called me and he told me a parang, they were dead. And we had to go and play in a wake. The first thing I asked him was, what the hell we go sing? And then he say, when I dead, bury my clothes. And he say, this Bois Man do afraid. And he say, this company lost a good man. This company lost a good man. And I started realizing, I said, but wait, this song and them is stick fighting.
This company lost a good man.
Yeah, he said, this company lost.
You know what?
This company lost a good man.
This company lost a good man. This company lost a good man. They're calling him.
You understand?
That come from that company thing. I assume comes from
With the Americans?
yes,
I think so too.
Fifth Company, Sixth Company,
Is it?
right? So the company is a zones in Maruga based on the Americans, right? So I know the first time I hear that I've been in 15 or so much years I know.
Hey, we
stick,
playing
right?
this in Parang, yeah? So
I ain't never heard that one.
Really?
Though.
It talks about connections, right? It talks about, so we think that Parang is only Christmas,
Yeah.
but who was singing these songs? And it's company, so it's about syncretism, it's about the meeting of cultures, it's the fact that something very magical happens.
But
in
it all
Trinidad.
came from here.
It did.
Something magical happens in this space.
Here's
You
a-
know, your perspective, sorry to cut you, your perspective is important though, because I consider you part of the diaspora now, like having left Trinidad. Oh, really?
here's a foreigner.
You're foreign base. But why I say that is because literally, you guys, I went to New York last year. That's where we met, right? And that was my first trip in New York in about over a decade, right? So 10 to 15 years.
The Howard Halls of NYU.
Yeah.
I mean, like we did something novel. We did something completely unheard of.
Yeah.
It was a gayelle.
Yeah.
In NYU.
Oh, nice.
Come on, yes.
It was like in an Ivy League
Yeah.
university on the 20th floor.
That-
Keegan Taylor, the rest of y'all
We did stick
conducted
fight in New
full-scale
York, you know what I'm saying?
Stick
And
fighting ceremony.
And the thing about that is like you start realizing how much our perspective and the need for you know
life.
it's and there is a Trini advantage you have as being Trinidadian and having all of these things and then going foreign, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? Like in Trinidad, I like to say it this way. When I go to the States or foreign places, I kind of do well, you know? And people like, yo, you're awesome, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not special back home. There's a lot of me back home.
Remember we had this conversation.
Yeah, I'm not special back home because, not that I'm not recognized, but the point is, there's a lot of me back home. And the things that make me who I am is literally always drinking the water. You understand what I'm saying? And the water to me is what you're talking about. You know, from the parang to the, you know, you can't tell us a trainee person you don't know nothing about Spanish. I mean, forget the exodus that we have now. We have had parang for years.
Exactly. And this is a question that I've been asked, right? Like, if by any means, and I say this without any hubris whatsoever, if I have been successful in any regards, and I do not consider myself to be a particularly successful person, but I've been asked, well, how is it that you've been able to navigate like this very alien culture in a space that I still feel in the US, I still feel like I'm an outsider, insider, but I always credit it to the very thing that you said. I feel like being born in a family of multiple ethnicities and multiple religions and multiple races as a microcosm of what happens here in Trinidad. I'm sure Venezuelan here will be like scrunching up their face when they hear a parang, but the truth is being influenced by all of those things has really given me, I honestly believe, a kind of a leg up and a hand up to move through a space that then kind of represents that plurality on a much larger level.
Almost any space.
Any space. Like I feel very confident walking into any space, having most
I feel that confidence too. Yeah.
Because I just feel like I have a very, very deep and visceral understanding of
cultures.
Yeah, for sure. It's similar to what you're saying. You're one of many here, but when you leave here,
and I run regular home.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But it's tested though when you go out somewhere else and you do well.
Yeah, you see your uniqueness. You see how you stand out.
The truth is, we have a very special place in the world as Trinidadians, and it's evident. I mean, everybody have a place in the world because the world is made up of everybody, right?
Yeah, but Trinidad is
a something here.
There's a magic.
There's something here.
Bring those things.
I have to bring up Attila Springer because today's her birthday. Shout out to Attila.
Happy birthday, Attila.
You know, but she said something very powerful to me. In front of your thing in New York, we could step outside for 5 minutes to do a little ritual outside.
Yeah.
And one of the things she said, because I'm like, as a creative, because this is another conversation now, as a creative, not just as a Trinidad, but a Trinidadian creative, it don't make sense being in Trinidad, dog. Like, I'm keeping it real. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't stay in Trinidad, you do your thing for carnival and then you bust. And people have been doing it for thousands of years. I mean, not thousands, but you know what I mean? From Kitchener and Sparrow and fellas used to live in London and come back home for carnival and go back out.
Of course.
Right? Because what we do is something that literally takes you on what we call a circuit across the diaspora. Because we really and truly, I mean, it's economic. You know, you cannot, primarily, you cannot make money home. You cannot make money home as a creative. You cannot. You will make money, but you cannot make money.
Sure.
Right, to take care of yourself. All of our favorite artists and your family.
You
have to travel. So, but the thing about it is, what she beautifully said was like, let's go back to stick fight. In stick fight, we have a tradition. The drum is the master. So you go to the drum, you get any Afro tradition which involves drum usually has a circle associated with.
I feel like it should be like doing a little drumming while we're talking about this thing.
You know what I mean? Right, so you always go back to the drum and pay obeisance.
I don't know.
You know? We're going to do some more, don't worry yourself. We pay obeisance to the drum.
Right.
You bow, you whatever, and then you go back into the space. The world is a gayelle and the drum is Trinidad. You know what I mean? So you come back home like you have.
This makes sense.
She says that's one song, you know. So no, come back home.
The audience don't know about the swan song. She had explained that. But just for those who don't know,
I want to hear.
Marsh said that this is her last carnival. I'll let her expound upon it, but
I don't know what that means.
We don't believe her.
It's scrappity rap scrap, guys.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Last.
So but you see, once we explain this, however, because this is not we didn't come here non-plastic. We come here to expand. And maybe after the conversation, things that Marsha learns, she may have a different perspective. We don't know. But I'm saying this, though. This is important. Trinidad is a drum. We come here to get the energy. Let's say we drink the waters, we heal, we get what we get, and then we go back out. But what happens out there, because I could tell you as somebody who understands ritual and spirituality, there is a little of it out there as compared to here. It's there, but you have to really dig for it. Here, it's everywhere. And so you can get really tired and exhausted in those spaces really quickly. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen to Marsha in 3 to 5 years when she decides she quote-unquote not coming home.
You're giving her 3 to 5 years?
Oh, man. Wow. I don't know if she's a sucker for punishments, you know.
BCLF was founded for this. It's so funny. Like, we have actually one of our taglines, which is that culture is umbilical, right? And so we think of the motherland, and we've been kind of conditioned to think of the motherland as Mother Africa, Mother India, Mother China, whatever. But for me, the motherland is Trinidad. The motherland for a Grenadian might be Grenada. The motherland is home. And so I come home as often as I do. You're right. I did not realize that I was responding to this kind of primeval sense that I needed to be nourished. But that's where the idea that culture is umbilical came from, which is that when we're out there and we are not homesick, because I'm walking Church Avenue and I hear in compa, I hear in soca, I hear in calypso. As a matter of fact, I'm hearing more music from Trinidad and Tobago out there than I'm hearing. Because it's a thing that nourishes us. It's a thing
but the thing about it, you become, the funny thing is when
I actually became more aware of who I was.
Me too.
When I was there outside, right, far from the madding crowd, and I'm no longer with y'all, I realized who I was. I think I really stepped into the fullness of my identity being in Brooklyn. And when I thought about why I love this place, you know, what made me special, and also realizing just the sheer benefit of being Trinidadian against like real world gains.
For sure.
Right? Like, how do I perform in the marketplace? Like, how do I do in an interview? How do I do in social spaces? Like, what's my social currency? Being part of Trinidad and Tobago and being a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago has been that hand up, and culture is a thing that continues to perpetuate identity and this kind of sense of who I am in a space where everybody's wondering who they are. So BCLF, kind of like to tie this all together again, like our very, very purpose is to drill down into our stories, is to build a bridge between the place that we call home, right, and the place in the diaspora, wherever we are, and nourish those connections. And there was something, I had a professor at UWI, Corey's name was Professor Kenneth Parmesan, and he had said that all successful revolutions, including the Russian Revolution, had an intellectual base that was outside of the space that the revolution happened, right? And that's kind of because you had the clarity, you had resources, you were able, with that insider-outsider perspective, you kind of saw things differently, and you were able to strategize from there. And so I kind of think like that's what the function of people in the diaspora, people like me, like that's what our function is. But in order to be successful and in order to do the things that we do have to come home. If not physically, we have to retain connections. But then, Keegan, there you upended something that I've been experiencing, or you clarified something that I've been experiencing as saying that this is a very spiritual journey. And I tell people, for me, like, everything is spiritual. Like, everything first is spiritual. Like, that's, like, more real than the three of us sitting down in this room here. And you don't have to believe it for it to be true. But when you live outside and you feel the pull of home, and you also feel loss, and you kind of feel this kind of fleecing of who you are, and you're not sure, but then you come home and you kind of feel enriched again, like there it gets explained.
The truth is, Marsha never said she wasn't coming back home. She said she wasn't coming. This
carnival.
Is a carnival.
Yeah, but I don't believe either.
No, but that's like a whole like socio-political, economic conversation.
Correct.
And that has everything to do with gross mismanagement, etc.
And I get you on that, but I would give you what we call peep you onto some game, right? How did I become a stick fighter? Is because I was in a soca band. I used to sing with Traffic and them, Show and Winchester and them.
You was in Traffic?
Yeah.
That's like KV, the Winer Boy was in.
No, that's after. That's after KV. That's even
what year
after
you talking about?
Oh my God. The white oak is slowing down the brain.
Let's take our next
But it's been a
white oak looking lonely.
It's more than 10 years. I probably like when Surin sing "Open It, Open."
Oh, you was there?
Yeah, them years. Oh my God, it was long. That was probably before 2012. Yeah, that is long.
Yeah,
time.
For sure.
Yeah, that's back in them days. So I guess I dated myself, right?
Yeah, a lot.
But wow. But in them days, right? When I was in Traffic, I used to be in the band, and I started missing gigs, like not making it to my sessions because I felt like I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't connecting with the band vibe and the soca vibe even then, you know. And it had a day I didn't go to a gig. I don't think it was a traffic gig, but I used to have my own little independent gigs.
Right.
And I was missing gigs, and then one day I was heading to a gig and I was like, I'm feeling to go, which is a bad thing. But don't do that, young entertainers. Go to your gigs, you know. But I end up on the long story short. I end up on the
Yeah.
But I end up on the wharf, and that's where I saw not my first stick fight, but I was immersed in my first stick fight experience. I end up on the wharf. I park the car. I see this bacchanal going on. I know it from young. I always like it as a martial artist. Even then, I liked it. And I went and I started singing with the group, the gropper people who wasn't behind the drum singing. I live in alone in the jungle. And I'm like, what going on here, boy? I was like,
feel it.
And it's like, and I just sing and I'm like, I just felt as a man who don't really belong to no sort of community and church and them kind of rare and thing and feeling kind of like an outcast. I just see these people and I say, come. And I just watching them out. So they like, I live in alone in the jungle, I live in jungle, snake and lion heart, sing out, I live in alone. And you become part of people, you become part of something, a group of people that pulling you in, you're feeling like you're liked, you're feeling accepted, the music doing you something, the drums, this man fighting, this war, it's like, it's crazy. And the soca didn't have that for me at the time. And I left soca music and I went into my spin into the
That's
stick
why I'm
fight.
not coming back, because carnival doesn't make me feel like that anymore.
Right. So what I want to say to you though is that the communities.
I'm waiting to see.
The key watchers watch. The communities that these. Is it that you? The question I want to ask you really is it that, and I feel like you need a chaperone like me. You know what I mean?
It's in the right direction.
Yeah, somebody who could take you to the places that carnival is still alive. Because I don't care what nobody say, right? Carnival is alive and well. Just like a flame is alive and well, even if the winds, even if the embers burning, bro, and the wood.
So my comparison,
it could catch back up.
I agree. So, and what I'm not saying, my thesis is not that carnival is dead.
Right.
No, we didn't get that from you.
Right? I absolutely know this. I'm saying that the thing that I felt as a child that I now have language to give, right, which was just the sound of carnival and calypso, and it's all African. It's all based. It all came from our ancestry. That's devoid. From the moment we started sanitizing carnival, and we moved the parade from True Tongue to our Soca Drome to Arapita Avenue, and staying across on that side of town, like that's not carnival.
I know.
Right? That plays
So that's Tricanal argument, right? Tricanal recently saying.
By the way, tonight I want to invite both of you all to the backyard jam Tricanal is having tonight at the Black Box.
What time it is?
That's from 9 go down.
Could I get my Don's roti?
You're already be in
no,
town.
I'm not eating a roti. I'm sorry.
You're non-carbon.
Mardi Gras.
Oh wow. I'm saying though.
The very Mardi Gras, really. Against, by the way, I'm going to play Mardi Gras in 20 days.
Okay.
But I'll try to be there.
And you know I support in your journey, right? So
and you know you're doing this, right?
yeah.
But the reason why, right, is that I feel like for too long, our stakeholders, like we've held on for way too long, and we suffer from administrative neglect in Trinidad and Tobago on every single level. Traffic, crime, healthcare,
for sure.
education. Like we've been running on fumes. The few cents on the dollar that we got from oil has really made us ahead of the pack in terms of economic viability in the Caribbean, but it's not been real, right? And now that game has changed, all of the illusions that we've had about our greatness, like I think that Guyana's rise and Guyana's use of our cautionary tales are saying, well, we're not going to do what Trinidad and Tobago has done over those last 30 or 40 or however long years. Like, I feel like our realities are now staring us in the face, but we are no longer where we're supposed to be. We have squandered what we've been given. We are no longer managing that properly. And that's why I have this love-hate relationship with Trinidad and Tobago. There are things that we have to do to preserve a heritage and to preserve a life that has been hard-won by our ancestors that we no longer do. And we kind of hold on to this idea of, well, nobody else can do it like us, and Jamaica Carnival, that somebody in this room, hint, hint, wink, wink, loves, is not a real threat. Guess what? In this modern economic world, it is a threat. It is a threat. Trinidad and Tobago has now become one of, 50 style carnivals, and I can only point fingers back to not like the authentic practitioners like yourself. I can only point fingers at our gatekeepers, the people that we appoint to take care of this heritage that they've inherited, and we are supposed to now take care of and pass on to other people.
I don't know why I'm feeling so optimistic about the war that's coming or the destruction that's coming.
But I just want the whole thing to mash up
but
and
it will
fall apart and come back together, but I won't be here. I'll be writing about it.
Yeah. But here's the thing, right? I am starting to feel my age. Not in my bones, thankfully, but in terms of the passage of time and generations, right? I know that I am from a group of people. My mother and father, thank God for what they did. They used to take me to carnival. My mother used to make a pot of pila and put it to the back of the car. My father used to drive up the road and we used to go around the savannah. And we used to...
Douglas, right? I'm not going to bring back to the stories. What is Tanti? Paul Douglas has this whole series.
What's Auntie doing here?
Being in the grandstand with her basket and her mobby and the pilau and the sugar cake.
My best memories of carnival has never been and will never be wearing costume. So big up to all costume wearers and lovers. I love you. Well, it's part of the thing, but that's not me. You see how you say you love fete?
Yeah.
My relationship with fete different. I actually consider myself a fete man more than a road man. But forget that. My love of carnival came from chasing the bands and storming. Right? Before rope culture was a real thing. Actually, rope culture as it was in the past was really what rope culture is, because you could still duck in.
Of course.
See for wine and jump out. I remember when Poison, remember them band names? Poison, Hearts, these guys. When Poison, Marsha used to sing for Poison. You see the stage here, and the truck used to pass between the stage, where the stage is built, and the stands, and there's enough room for the truck to pass.
Also had an order because Ole didn't want to stay.
What's that?
Yeah, it's a touch and go.
It's a touch and go. Rope culture also had an order. It was a touch and go.
Yeah, for sure.
You take your wine and you go away. And
As a little boy growing up in St. James, the idea of paying of our costume was ludicrous. Juve or mass. It was see somebody, ducking, take a wine and come out.
That's what it was, man. Like, Trinis are still, I don't know about now, but Trini, we were renowned for being some of the best winers.
Yeah.
Suffering. Carnival is a victim of the gross mismanagement that Trinidad and Tobago has been suffering all these years.
We are inches away from the roots yard appeal of carnival, meaning people will flock in the droves in tens and thousands to go to town to watch mass now. But I kid you not, if in a small corner over, so some people holding what we call a real vibe, you're going and get people coming to that, and that going and grow.
That's all come back for Korea.
So
that will happen next year.
But it already begun, because I would say that with Atilande, with the whole Lakure thing that they started, we've been doing a series of talks every Friday.
Right.
And I was on a panel 2 weeks ago speaking about the evolution of soca, and on that panel was Omari from Kindred and Sheldon Blackman. And each of them provided their own perspective, and I provided mine. And it's not record crowds like people all on top of the roof and thing, but it was a nice turnout, and people coming out to these things, and they having the Jamet ball coming up, which you could, then you have these small bands of a bat band coming out, big up to Nikolai and them who doing a bat band where you could make your own costume. To me, to me, these things.
But is it happening fast enough to stem the attrition?
Listen.
And I gotta ask
your attrition. Yeah, you are attritioning.
She not attritioning.
I gotta ask Corey though, because Corey's a businessman.
Yeah.
So his unique position, as we keep navel gazing as creatives, right? Is like, Corey, so how is this counterbalance against the industry?
Yeah, it's a good question. So this is why I feel like, Jamaica Carnival, this made Machel running debate, right? For me, what you described as a creative must touch and go. It's the same thing we talk about, running the road, take a wine and come back, right? The comeback not optional. I don't think people may say, like for instance, you say you're coming out of the carnival for a while. I don't think there's an option. It's the same thing you say about passing and hearing the drums and hearing a chant that you hear for the first time. How you could be so attracted to that if it was never a part of you in the first place? It was always part of you.
Yeah, I know that.
But you get exposed to it, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about Trinidad Carnival. Trinidad Carnival, I've only lived in the Caribbean. I live here in Jamaica. And Jamaica Carnival is a borrowed version of what they see in Trinidad at a commercial level.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's just commercial. And that's the threat, That's what I'm worried about. Because commercially...
She wants you to say it again.
Yeah, oh God, this is white oak. I need another drink. It's a borrowed version of just the commercial aspects of carnival. They come and they see it, and it's just what we do. It's like how we are Starbucks here.
Yeah.
Somebody went somewhere, they see there's a way to make money, and they bring it back and they do it here. But to me, the thing that calls you, that happened to you before you're born, is what makes our carnival. I don't know why I like fete that much. Until I start to understand that me and my mother same age now, and I start to understand where she get it from, because she's a fetter. Yeah. And then I start to understand my grandmother, all the church they're going now is sins they're repenting for. Tell her I say so. You understand? So the reality is that for me, Jamaica and them will borrow it. There's it. They could borrow that. But the stick fighting and those things, it's too deeply rooted to copy, and it's not commercially, or what you're describing it.
Well, here's the problem that I have. When I go to insert random Caribbean island, and a steel band orchestra greets me at the airport, right?
It doesn't feel the same, does it?
It doesn't feel the same, but guess what? To the non-discerning traveler,
that's vibes.
Yeah, but I like that, because I feel the pan man must...
Why we can't have the pan and them that they playing emblazoned or kind of embossed with a Trinidad and Tobago seal? And so that's my problem. And I know
I got what you're saying.
It sounds like a hypocrite as the Brooklyn Caribbean Literary Festival representative saying this, but what I'm also saying, and it's always been my argument, is that it is not our sameness that makes us special.
Yeah, sure.
It's our uniqueness that stands out. And therefore, right, nobody else is going to rival Jamaica for reggae, you know? Right? Or jig chicken. And I feel like Trinidad, and we have been like afraid for a long time of owning our culture, that Trinidadian culture has become homogenous Caribbean culture. And so
I feel it's just that peak of the iceberg becoming homogenous. It's just that small part of it.
Why are we so afraid to say that?
All right, let me tell you what's happening, right? It's an evolution of conversation.
Yeah,
right? It's an evolution of conversation in that I feel like the entrepreneurs in this space have only taken on a few things. They've taken on the mass and the fetes. What I'm considering is the entrepreneurship behind the traditional aspect of things. And in so saying, once we start commercializing the traditional aspect, we run the same risk of what commercialism and essentially capitalism does to a thing, right? So I have to be careful of that. But the same way that we come...
I don't want to cut across it, but I like the thought a lot, because the thing about it is, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, you will chase what makes money. For now, beads and skin makes money. So let's assume...
Stick Fight internationally can make money if it's packaged.
I feel so. And I really like the idea of an entrepreneur taking that. Let's say, forget the government. For an entrepreneur taking that, making it global, because it has appeal. How to convert it into money is one thing.
If I take 10 fighters and go up the islands and do bouts, like boxing.
Same thing that happened to you will happen to people there, without a doubt, right? Which is what? You get attracted to it, and people get to love it. It's like any other niche thing. To them, it starts to be niche, and then it starts to grow. But let me tell you what I like about it the most. It means that you can now become a touring stick fighter, and earn in the way I described when we first started recording. So that the stick fighter who here could mind your family and don't do nothing else. You tour the world and you do that and you come back. Because the person who throw in the biggest versions of fetes now could tour the world. They don't have to work for anything else.
So you see why I'm not afraid?
Yeah, I like that, you know.
I'm not afraid of what will happen because it ain't do yet, right? And I'm talking the things them only because we're talking. And part of talking it out is also, if I have to do it, then talking it out helps me to put it into words. The risk is somebody will hear and think, but the truth is, and Shadow teach me this, what I'm saying doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the ether. It's up there, and I'm channeling it. If I fail to do something about it, someone else will, and then I go on total feelings that is not me, but the truth is, it's there. But what we were saying essentially is that we could and it's an ugly word, but we can commercialize the traditional aspects. All right, so you have this Cirque du Soleil, right?
Of course.
Yeah, we have the Cirque du Soleil. Cirque du that, right? Say that thing 5 times. The Cirque du Soleil is a collection of. I've never seen it in real, but it's dance, it's acrobatics.
It's a carnival. What do you call a carnival?
Right, a carnival, right?
A circus.
Imagine if we Cirque du Soleil Trinidad Carnival, which is stick fighters, the baby doll, the jab, the moko jambi, and that becomes a package show that's going across the Caribbean and the international. What's going to happen? But if I don't have political fortitude, I have an international, some white man say, yo, Keegan, Marsha, we love this idea. We needed to come to Toronto with this. What's it going to cost us? And I'm like, all right. I go and I form a company. It's called Calendar Collective. It's already a real thing. Right. And we do that. And we come to, because,
Google it, guys.
Come on. You already know. So we go out there and we do this stuff. And we do it in Sweden and we do it all over. Because it's happening with Pan already.
Yep.
Here's the funny thing that I learned becoming a touring creative, right? It's in the club secret. Like, how do you make money as a creative? What they don't tell you at the start of the program is you need to travel. Right. They just tell you need to, if you want to be an artist, you need to learn how to sing good songs, you need to perform, you need to mash up the place, blah, blah.
Yeah, learn to stuff.
Right. But they don't tell you that traveling is a key part critical. Of what you do.
Any artist.
Right? So if you wanna get into this thing of traveling with our culture, we have to understand that it must be exported and it must be packaged. And you start from the back, from the front end to the back end. The front end, it needs to go outside. All right? We know that. So how do we go outside? We need to package it. How do we package it? We need to get together. We need to have an idea. You know what I mean? So it's like...
But shouldn't there be certain protectionisms that happen before we kind of, Corey? I don't know.
Yeah, I would say, but one of the things I always feel is that the protection had to be left up to... The way it is, Calendar Collective.
Yeah.
With a K, guys.
Yeah.
Calendar Collective with a K. I worry when the government is the body that's protecting anything.
Correct.
Well, so fortunately, due to Dr. Suzanne Burke, she's a lecturer in the university. She lectures cultural studies at the master's level.
Is you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She was part of the cultural policy generation of Trinidad and Tobago, and I was part of that cultural policy initiative. And on that initiative, one of the things that we talked about in our meetings was the relationship between the chicken and egg situation of Bob Marley's success and Jamaica's cultural policy, which came first. And
I think if my research is correct, didn't the policy come after?
The policy came a little after, but it was also very. It was impacted by Bob Marley's work and success, right? At some point in time, but fortunately for them, they caught on fast
early
before everyone else did, right? Yeah. Now, Jamaica is not the only country with a cultural policy, and funny enough, a lot of the countries, I think St. Lucia is one of them, but the countries that have cultural policies, which is government-backed initiatives, right, do better worldwide. Absolutely. It's just what it is. Like people say, you can't study the government. I understand that, but you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot.
And I, in a very simplistic, very pedestrian way, I blame oil and gas. I blame Trinidad.
We've become way too dependent on it. Yeah. Actually, it's not really dependent, but it's the mismanagement.
And
we become stush in our eyesight.
We've ignored culture as commodity, culture as heritage. The value of culture.
Is the commodification of culture a bad thing? That's the question I want to ask you.
And how do we find balance?
Do you think commodification, what did I say? Of culture?
Dangerous. I think in a super ideal world, yes, right? Like in a super ideal separating business from culture as if creatives didn't have to eat, I would say yes. In this, where I think it's the United Nations has designated orange economy, or if it was the United Nations, UNESCO, somebody like that, in a space where we actually have global institutions recognizing culture, not just as commodity, but culture as value and heritage as having an inherent worth, I will say no. But it's about, back to Corey's point, who proctors over this, right? Yeah. Who is the presiding body to determine what we do with culture, to what extent it's monetized, right? Because there needs to be some kind of buffer between creating and profiting.
I feel like Russia have a cultural agency.
Russia's is it post-communist yet? Is Russia?
I don't know. I want to hear where this is going. I'm very worried.
But my point is, these big European countries have cultural, like culture for them is not drumming and how this culture is the essence of who we are.
Germany, but I think Germany is also trying to atone for the unatonable.
The funny thing I heard about Germans, right?
But they do. They give us lots of money. Like if I go to them and I say, so it's a project I'm working on, I said,
it's the way of apologizing.
This is what I want. It's the way of apologizing. This is what I want to do. And they say to me, well, you're only with the BCLF, right? And they say, well, your only requirement is, well, how are you using culture? How are you using technology to harness culture and perpetuate culture and drive it into the future? And I say, well, I'm using ABC, and they're going to give me money for it.
Right.
So they have already recognized.
Yo, give me your German link, though. Let me talk to them, yo.
Like, what's happening?
Let me talk to Boris. Let me talk to, Heimlich.
Which one, Becca or Yeltsin?
Yeah. They already seen it. They do, but it's who manages this, who proctors over this, who has a vision for this. And I am so concerned that in an eater food culture of Trinidad and Tobago, in a sense of real cultural superiority, because we have that. We have a lot of cultural hubris. What we have here is real special. Nobody can take it. Nobody can do it like that.
But we almost lost Pan the other day, though.
Exactly. That might be true, but
literally,
that does not sustain us in the real world.
What, Pan?
No, I'm saying that cultural hubris.
It doesn't do anything for us.
They might imitate it, but they're never get a real thing. Guess what? If I got $10 on a budget and I need 5 fed tickets and a hotel room, I don't care who does it best. Because if in Trinidad my $10 is going to get me into one fete, no hotel room because we don't have enough hotel rooms, right? I can't get into a band unless I know somebody. I'm going to go somewhere else that has a replica of the thing where I can get into all the parties that I want.
Do you know that's why Jamaica is getting popular though?
Well, this is the thing, right? Jamaica will continue to get popular. But to me, you know what, where this will all end up?
Where?
Jamaica will end up being whatever the bootleg version of Paris is. Because no matter how expensive it gets to go to the Louvre, the lines will stop. You understand? So the place I always agree with Marsha with is how do we ensure that we know what we have and we protect what we have.
Not say he's never going back, eh?
I going back for sure.
That
every year.
He disagrees with me.
No, nah.
Supporting it.
No, for sure. I go in Jamaica Carnival. Any carnival. Any carnival in the world belongs to we. As far as I'm concerned. Any version of a Trinidad Carnival is ours. Yeah. The difficulty I have with people is that when you copy the commercial aspects, then it's our responsibility to make. We must decide what is the commercial aspect.
There we go.
Disney decides what Disney is, and you can make a theme park anywhere in the world, but they will always have the most lines when summer comes. We just have to make sure that we have the most lines when our carnival comes.
Because the horse, right, has already bolted out to the stables. Like, we cannot pull it back.
It's only have a million people here.
How do we, why can't this be the manufacturing hub?
So that's where.
Or it could be the idea hub, eh? Right? It could be the idea hub. Because you see,
ideation pub. Gucci, right? And I don't want Fucci. I don't want something else.
So pay the most to come here. You see why I'm going through now? I want to say this for the I'm saying this for the purposes of people like Bobby. Who else name I could call? Schoon. Everybody who had to get a Fed ticket. I feel is an important part of the embodiment of what Trinidad culture is. Fed ticket must be hard to get. Mass must be expensive and hard to play.
It's a velvet rope mentality.
Well, the thing is, if we are the Gucci, but we must decide if we want to be the Gucci or the leather goods space, then we must create the premium experience and charge the premium price.
Yeah.
If it is, then we want to decide that the Charlotte Street version of this, so no disrespect to anybody in Charlotte Street, the Charlotte Street version of this is going to happen in Jamaica. Of course.
What we talking about, the Chinese thing?
Yeah.
So
yeah, if we want to say that the China of this carnival thing must be Jamaica, the problem is that we don't decide it. It happens to us a little bit, and I have a difficulty with that part. Correct. Yeah, because if we start by saying the artist must travel, especially because to expand your art to the world is to ensure that you earn for generations.
The must travel is because he's not being honored in his own space.
Well, that go way back to Jesus.
Right?
Jesus, if he said first.
Right?
Leave. And as they come back, you're dead. That's the
and therefore, we've got all Calypsonians or the older Calypsonians who sacrifice life and limb to create this beautiful inheritance for us.
So
when he's dying or she's dying,
so my thing is,
nothing for them.
my thing is that we don't have any current utopias. No, that's a big statement. I was going to say we don't have any utopias in the world of any perfect example of what it should be. But I'm sure I'm wrong there because I'm sure that a lot of these European countries, forgive me for being Eurocentric in this case, but I think that as it relates...
They're also perfect because they've been built up on
the borrow and steal from us, so why you mustn't borrow and steal from them,
right?
600 years of African...
Correct.
I find you need a lavway right now.
You need a lavway?
It's appropriate lavway for this way.
Drink and drunk, that is my name. Always makes me family shame.
How does it sound like a parang chutney?
Like Maria. Anytime it sounds like a parang chutney, I drink too much. Whole day, whole night. Staggering, I like a kite. But it's Christmas, every day is Christmas. It's not Christmas carnival.
See?
Sorry, let me get a proper lavway for Marsha.
I feel the wine, I feel the rum.
Let me get a lavway for Marsha. I live to annoy Marsha, so let me get a lavway, right? Calypso is soca. Soca is calypso.
Corey, don't do that. Bam, bam, ba-dam, bam. Bam, ba, bam, ba-dam, bam.
The man sing a calypso, like a voice. What you say? And soca is calypso. I don't know the lyrics.
So, my dear listener of this podcast, you must be wondering what these people sitting down doing on it, what they drinking. Corey nearly knocked down the white oak on the production console. That is why people watching we and saying, but he's a real rascal.
Wait. Only bring me back to the right spot, because listeners to this thing will half kill me. Because I cut off the whole Olivier story. So let me go back to that now, because man wanted to watch the watch and thing. I see when time started to run out. So
yeah, time running.
The man say he right. And we have questions about it. Bushead song, right? Yeah. So Olivier, go back to that for a minute, where everybody's saying Holy Faith, and when they say Olivier.
Captain Beckerman, sing Mary Vey,
Joe Tamana was the first man.
Me too.
Was the man who fight for we carnival. Long and short. He was a stick fighter. He fight Captain Baker, and we are carnival now, right? He's not the only man that had women and thing. Hardback Doris and all these people who come together. And
so if you go Campbell, right, you can see this.
You can see that,
right? Canal, any one of their shows, you probably go find out that.
Right? Olive is a tree. It's a tree that they used to use as we use in the pui now to make the tree.
Right.
Olive was a style of tree. That is what I learned. Right? But here what I want to tell you, the knowledge of calendar and stick fighting and all these things is never, I wouldn't say never ending, but it has more to do with it.
Right.
As to why we would lift up and deify a piece of wood and a tree, that's our next question. You know what I'm saying? Why that tree? Why that name? Why sing it? Right? Those are the questions I would ask. But it's really about the tree. And we could go deeper into it, but that's what Olivier is. Olivier. When we write that part, like, I just wanted to integrate elements of the traditional language into something mainstream. Right. So coming full circle to the listeners who like going on this roundabout with us and asking how can we preserve the tradition and how we could, I say through music, film, culture. That's my way. Yeah. Marsha could sit down and deal with a book far better than I can. So she's my friend. So she always asks me for information so that she could document in a literary pen to paper type of way. I will document via the songs. Right. So this year we did Rosie and Young Brother. which is Destra and Young Brother did a song called Rosie, which is a song, was a love way. Rosie coming down with a bunch of Rosie's coming down, right? So we did that so that no matter what happens, like 10 years from now, it's documented. When we shoot the video, which Marsha ain't gonna be here for, we're gonna
ask you to be a video girl.
Video vixen.
You wanna be a video vixen? You wanna be Melissa Ford? You wanna be
you can still do that, man.
15 years.
Yo, y'all should see. Marsha can still do that stuff. Like she can still do it.
Hello.
She's gymming. She got this Mardi Gras thing.
This is a call for Irfan Owls.
Yeah.
Irfan Owls paging Irfan Owls on line 1.
She's gymming and she came to Trinidad to fall into a video job. I'm saying, yeah, you got it. But she gotta leave, yeah? But yeah, that's what it's about.
So Rosie is your song too?
Huh?
Rosie is
I wrote Rosie, yeah. I also wrote for a woman called Stacey Sobers. She have a song called No Woman No Afraid.
Right.
No Woman No Afraid.
Yeah, she have a song called No Woman No Afraid, No Woman No Afraid, No Demon, and blah blah. She went into Calypso Monarch with that, and she went the big yard with that. So, and then you have Mr. Shaq who has songs. So we have the songs still. I think you still can't beat. I mean, Bossed is Bossed, but what's his name? Who sang When I Dead Bury My Clothes?
Ansem Douglas.
The man who wrote Ansem Douglas, right? So we have, to me, the transition from these songs into mainstream is important.
So your the backbone of your writing is calendar. I mean, you could write anything. So
I could write all kind of thing, but
of course,
because I'm a calendar person,
right,
who's also in the mainstream of soca and calypso, I'm gonna make that influence my songs.
The question answered itself.
What's that?
How do we preserve this thing?
Yeah,
we also the marriage of the traditional
with the mainstream.
Right, with the mainstream.
That's my
thing,
point.
Right?
And
one of the things with youths now, and the reason I do the podcast now is because I played Rosie, could be last week. And one of the main points I'm making is that not knowing who writes it or what is the vision behind it or anything. I said, listen, this is Lavway. You understand?
Yeah.
But people might not know when they hear it. But to me, it don't matter if they know or not. When you hear it, something in you that was already there will wake up. Because Rosie is that is forever music, right?
How I get on? Can you tell them how I get on when I hear Rosie?
So with Trinidad and Tobago, when the song Rosie was created, only 4 people knew Rosie. Young Brother, Rosie. I mean, Young Brother.
Yeah, who's Rosie?
Keshav, one of the producers, and myself, right? And the first person to hear the song outside of that space, the test, you have to do a test, was Marsha. Sure. Marsha called, message from the States, and she's like, Keegan, I'm not feeling this music in New York, in Trinidad right now. Right. I need to get my 10 out of 10 body up, and I'm just not feeling the vibe in the gym.
It's helping you.
She didn't really ask for help, but I said, let me test. Actually thought about it for a day or two before I sent it because I didn't want to get shut down and I feel bad. Yeah, Keegan, this aight. When she said what she wanted, I was like, I feel this song have it. And I sent it to her, and her response gave me the energy that made me feel like this song should be something.
I was in the gym when he WhatsApped the message back to me, and it was a very cold morning because we've been talking like for 2 mornings consecutively. Drop my son off to school, heading to the gym, heavy coat down.
I'm getting the
opposite of carnival. Getting backstory.
Yeah, everything about the environment was antithetical to what everybody else in Trinidad is doing. Coming back to the diaspora region connection, right? So I know in a kind of futuristic state, I'm preparing for this thing that's happening where everybody who in the space is already immersed in, but I'm not feeling it.
Of course.
And I'm like, the music is what I'm relying on to do it for me, and it's not happening, right? The next morning again, I'm like, I drive into this gym and I want to go and eat a croissant and Nutella. But my costume is strings. What am I going to do?
Yeah. You need something.
He sent me this song.
It's a big song.
The people in the gym must be watching me like, want to shake.
Yeah, I have a segment called Forever Music and on Rosie in it. Yeah. Because what you said about it waking up something inside of you. Yeah, for sure. You don't know that you know it.
But there's why I need. Remember I told you that? This is what I needed.
Can I say this is a beautiful moment for me because I don't get to be. I've been fortunate enough, but I don't think I do enough to be around people who get the impact of the music. Because I make a deliberate effort to make a different style of music.
Sure.
As I was saying to someone else the other day, they're like, so what are you doing for carnival? I said, I am the carnival in such that I am in flux, just like the carnival.
Yeah.
And I say that I could be that and do that because I can create things that impact the carnival.
And you know why this is beautiful too? You are here doing your work, Corey, trying to kind of make sense of what's happening every single day, and you synthesize it on a weekly basis, right?
Yeah.
I am in an outpost of home, desperately hankering.
Of course, you're trying to hold on to it.
Like hankering for something, right? I don't listen to Hot 97 or whatever those stations are because I need to maintain a connection. Here you are creating this work that then we talk about the triangular trade during West African slavery and transatlantic slave trade. This is like a real modern transposition of the triangular trade. We've got a creative.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? We have you making sense of what we do every single day or sometimes nonsense and synthesizing that information, right? Like making sense of it or not.
Of course.
And then here it is appealing to somebody like me, and then we come back home in this space.
Yeah, important to me, you know.
Back by the drum.
Yeah, that's why she come back next year. She could say what she wants.
So here's what we giving
It's
you.
my swan song. It's my swan.
So
song.
I was just about to Corey. I was just about to give her space to walk back that thing.
She will.
Because
it's early, no panorama ain't come yet.
Come on for pan. Come on, because in
It's
my
the drum.
It's a pan next year
because
again.
I'm leaving, I've got the hallmarks, which is why I'll never do the greens. I'll never do any other popular party that's happening on the hallowed day of Panorama. I'll come on.
Of course, yeah.
So there's some things that I gotta check off on this checklist before I say.
I feel like
I say bye bye.
So this is why I want you to come to the Tree Canal thing this
I
evening.
love this thing.
Yeah, but if I come there, I can't go rise and roast. This
It's just a small lime. It's nine.
Nobody
o'clock.
way small limers work for me. See, I say smile lamb.
But here's why I think it is. It's my first time going down, but as hang out in the Tree Canal Black Box because these days I've had so many different types of relationships with people across the years who have always. The Tree Canal, I ain't gonna lie. I had a few girlfriends in the past who danced for Tree Canal. You know what I mean? And I've always been an adjacent.
So there's a poaching girl.
Oh my God.
Well, I just want to say that this is not a shameless plug, but this is an unpaid plug for. If you feel like me, Trinidadians and Tobagoans, if you're fed up of the hackneyed, if you're fed up of the played out, if you're fed up of the superficial, right? There is a space for people like you and me. You can go, you can reconnect with culture,
for sure.
right? Like there's like a real touch base. There is
that's what makes Trinidad Carnival
ways
ways for me.
Square, I think it's a Wednesday before Carnival. It simply means
with the Camboulay riots,
right? There's the reenactment of the ritual of Camboulay and the Camboulay.
Now, but I feel like going to Tree Canal, going.
Coming down tonight and
I'm coming down tonight.
Whole out vibe. I would love for Marsha to come, especially this is your last hurrah.
This is my last hurrah, guys.
Corey, this is not really me trying to fill her last hurrah bag, but it's really my last negotiation.
It is?
Wait, you're not gonna beg again?
Huh?
You're not gonna beg anymore?
I'm still begging. I'm still begging. Tonight is the beg.
She's not doing nothing. You're not.
There's no selfie as a beg.
I'm saying this is my beg. I'm not begging in the normal way, but I'm like, just come down and see what's going on. Like,
coming up.
Come down, Black Box, Maurice Street,
Has Tree Canal not said that this is their last?
They've said it, but what they've also said, right? Now,
they're not divorcing themselves from the carnival.
It's funny that they're saying these things because, I'm in this space. Just last night, right? They were fooling around. And they had conch shells. Everybody was just blowing conch shells. And they were saying, next year they have to do a conch suit. And they were making a lot of jokes on the word conch, right? Because it's like, imagine 40 people with a conch shell and we blowing on it because they're just having fun. But the point is, already, even those stalwarts of Trinidad Carnival are looking at what's next, even for them. You know what I'm saying? Because they know, just like I wonder if it's a swan song you're feeling or if you're just feeling the change.
It's a swan song.
Because, all right.
It's dramatic. It's dramatic.
Corey, isn't this giving...
Dramatically beautiful.
Isn't this... I think she's more connected to the fact that it's dramatically beautiful and the theatrics of it.
I think so.
I'm done only. I'm fed up stuff myself. I can't even eat left.
It's one of them Jay-Z retirements.
You know what she gonna do?
Or something like a double M.
Yeah, it could be a double M retirement.
You know what it's gonna be though?
I hear this many times.
It's gonna be a Michael Jordan where she plays basketball, which is carnival, and then she's gonna try baseball. She's gonna realize she sucks at it.
Go by the Wizards.
What's this Mardi Gras thing though? Is that what? That's what?
I'm saying, I'm like, listen. I love the culture. I love what's traditional. I love what's real and authentic. But I still want to be in the tripping.
Where's Mardi Gras?
Like the bikini and beach.
Where?
New Orleans?
Spirit Man.
This is not Trinidad, right?
Spirit Mass is New Orleans. Is Mardi Gras this year?
For me.
Okay, good.
Where Spirit has it in your head?
Spirit as in the mass band.
Gotcha.
In Trinidad?
Yeah, new mass
Leaving
band.
Monday?
Is she coming back?
Oh, you're coming back? No, you didn't say that. She didn't say that.
You see how-
You have levels to this thing. You have levels to divorcing. Like when a woman divorcing, she husband or she man, she just get up and go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's time for me to wrap up. You see, when you say, oh, divorce and these kind of things, I'm trying to give me a good trick.
I'm not giving him any ideas.
No, when she said
idea is not for
divorce, no, but here Corey, here Joyce is, yeah, we could rap now, right? But when she said divorce, I just feel, you know what? This song is toxic. If you have reached the place where carnival is something at a divorce, let we go.
Listen. Listen, you know how funny it is that last week, the last time I record, I played that Rosie and talk about that. It's a hell of a thing. So I always wonder about songs, right? I'm not as curious as the average person. I take in life at face value. So there's no part of me that ever say, let me find out who write Rosie. Or let me find out who write Bois Man. But I'll tell you why them two songs are real connected for me, right? I always wondered, with everything that Machel and Benji was going through, how fitting is a stick fighting song for them? And I say, I wonder if Benji decided that, Machel decided that, the writer decided that, the producer decided that.
Okay. Tune in for who actually made that decision right after this commercial break.
For sure. For sure. We need a part two. Now we know we need a part two, right? For video effect. Because that is something. For sure. For sure. But
I would love to tell you those stories. But I could tell you who, but it's a movie. So even if I tell you who, it's still not enough. But it was Machel's decision.
Right.
But
so we need an episode for that.
There's a story behind that.
Yeah, we'll do it the right way. We'll do it the right way. But here what we'll do, Marsha, we'll do it during 2025 Carnival, so you have to come back. All this is a swan song.
Wow. By
The
then I would have
second part
done
of this.
another one. Yeah.
Well, the second part of this for me, right, is I talk about Destra a lot. Where she started off as a band singer. And I'm sure she started off long before that.
Again, Atlantic?
She started, was she with Atlantic or Traffic? Could be Atlantic.
No,
One
Atlantic,
of the two.
yeah.
Or Roy Cape for sure. She was with Roy Cape for sure. And her evolution has becoming one of the queens of soca, right? Easily one of the best who ever did it.
Yeah.
And I feel, this is just my personal opinion, I feel it's important when somebody has young brother, who's a young legend in my eyes, right?
Young legend. I big him up in every way. Everywhere I go, I'm going to do it.
Ridiculously good.
I'm going to do it.
And him coming together with Destra, it's important that the fusion between those two.
Yeah.
The
It's a daytime fusion, right?
well, here now is a fusion of any, because the thing about it is you can't. I don't like chances with those things, because things like that is bridging several gaps and several generations. So I always feel like the song that you put for two of them to sing must be something that carries the culture forward. So when I hear that Rosie, when I hear it as a love way, I say somebody do this the right way, because they have so much wrong ways to do that. Yeah. Yeah, in my mind, listen, you don't know how you warm my heart with that Rosie, because a lot of times when them from two different worlds. Yeah. So when they come together, and the thing that brings them together is very, very Trinidadian, and in the roots of what we do, it's something that I personally appreciate a lot.
So, all right, I want to do something.
Sure.
Actually, I won't do it now, but
All they hearing this?
For sure.
the funny thing is when you're making carnival music, you just can't get too much in your head, right? You can't make it too heavy, so to speak. And I must give credit to Destra where it's due. Now, the funny thing with making songs is that, at least for me, I don't come to the table and say, "Oh yeah, look, my idea.
Right.
Let we go." I say, "Here is an idea, right? Here's an idea," and let everybody cut a piece of flesh and put it in, and we get each of you in this.
Right.
And Destra listened to the track. She said, "I feel like," because I said, "Let's do Young Brother." And she said, okay, if we're doing Young Brother, we need to make this a little more hip than it was.
Shut the fuck
You know? No, yeah, because the first version of it was, did I send you the first version, Marsha? No, anyway, there was the original lyrics was, they love me for my bad girl behavior. They love it when I swing up my bumper. They love it when I make the party over. Did I wait for the good girl arrival? They're coming down with the carnival, yeah. When we come down, we take over town. That's one of our tambourine
of course.
kind of vibe, right?
You can feel it.
See the tambourine. They love me for my bad girl behavior. They love me when I fling up my butt. So it was that, right? So no problem. So that could have been the shallow. But she said, Ollie, I find that song in like 2020, 2019. Like, that's when we originally wrote the song. I said, no problem, D. So she said, let me make sure Young Brother could feel comfortable on this. She said, go back to the drawing board for me now. I said, no problem. And then I driving up over the lady young day. So that was write songs. I play the rhythm in the car and I go, you know, build a vibe and drive. Driving is a good thing. I ain't gonna lie, right? So I driving and I trying like on my phone, trying different melodies, check and see which one. Then me and Keisha have sitting in the studio playing back some of the stuff I recorded. Right. And he liked the kind of, can't follow back on me. Can't want to back on me. You know, the bad girl behavior. Want to back on me. That kind of. It hits in more. Pam, pam. You know, it hits in here. So Young Brother, that kind of vibe, right? So it felt better. So when we went in the studio with Young Brother now, the show was on overdrive that night. Everybody was hyped. The energy was up. So Young Brother had his own kind of respect for her, right? So you might see he getting like the king of steam on stage, but he's very respectful. You know what I'm saying?
You can see that.
So he's respectful on stage to Young Brother, and he's like, he's respectful to the studio. Like,
you know, people in YouTube comments say that. I just want to say, I read the comments on YouTube. People are saying that.
You can see it.
You can see it.
Yeah. So and I'm happy for that. So she's like, she cannot break that. She respect it. She love him. She said, but here, I want you to be yourself. I want you to bring that steam. And then when he come in with the whole vibe of you, and then he start his whole thing. Yeah. Like, you know, kind of, and she would say, yes, that is the vibe. And I say, like, you could do that over? Nah, brother, you could come a little harder. And she's like, nah, don't afraid. Come on. And then he go come in. Yeah, man. And cut up. I had the rose and I had the roses. And then my boy do something kind of. I leave him alone.
So this is like ad lib, like this is not happening.
It's happening. So we leave him alone for a while. Dasha here with she drinking, I boy drinking. He's like, and then here, and he bought, and I go so.
Keep that.
Roses that are looking for the roses that are looking for Rosie that are looking for. I was like, where's that? She said, go in there and think him. So I go on in. That are looking for.
The body of it,
the African kind of. So there's a jumbie tune, but we go talk about that in the next podcast.
What the man say? Hear what the man say. Only hear what the man say.
I want to say to Corey and to Keegan, oh my gosh, like this is like one of the high points of my life. You all know I live my whole life for culture.
For sure. I think all of us, we could safely say that. We were destined to be in this space at this time.
Room with people who love this place and the things that we produce in our history as much as I do.
But I would say one thing though, guys, you all have, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, everybody as a cultural creator, you want to feel like you're doing something. And to make art in this place is a struggle. You know, if I could do this alone for the rest of my life, I'd be happy. But I had to do other things and expand my creativity. God gave me some skills, and I say, I want to be a creative entrepreneur, and thank God I've been able to do that and take care of myself and my family through that. But there's times you just want to make impact. You want to do something real, you know. And when we do songs like this is when I get to do that. And you all appreciation for it. Even if it's just the two of you all, it feels good because of who you all are in this space and what you represent. So even the making of the video has been.
Have a video?
We're gonna do the video. We ain't do the video yet, but we're going on.
But we know you're coming back, so we know the video coming.
So you're coming back. If you're coming back,
lock down some dates here now.
If you're coming back,
lock some
let
things
us
down.
know, because guys, I would love to. I want to fulfill. fulfill Marsha's
why not?
dream to be in a video.
For sure.
If you come back when we're ready to do the video,
I'll come back.
Not if, when.
Well, you see, it's a timing thing.
If it's not for Carnival 2025, I'll be here.
Yeah, we know you'll be here.
We're talking about this year. We're talking about
the
next
other
2 to 3
now.
weeks.
Yeah.
This is gonna happen. We're already planning everything's together. We're just trying to get Deshaun and Young Brother dates to collide that we could do this because this is the heat of Carnival.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hold on, I can't beat out Deshaun. She on video. I want to be.
No.
video
You're
girl.
gonna be what?
I want to be the video girl.
Oh, and we didn't say that.
No, Keegan will take care of that too.
Oh wow.
You find a way
Maybe I
together.
could lip sync to Deshaun.
You could dance.
Let me see.
You could do a TikTok.
No, but we have no
dance.
camera.
Wait. First of all, I am more like Faye and Lion's mother when she talk about old time wine. And I find a girl supposed to wine with a cup of water on she head and it's not supposed to spill.
Oh, wow.
You see that twerking business?
Is that
these
you?
young-
Roses, what you looking for?
Rosie!
Looking for.
Are you the one?
It could be me. It
Yeah,
could
for
be
sure.
not. Let's see.
For
Let's
sure.
see.
You see, you get young brother coming in very respectful again, and somebody had to wake him down if that's the
Yeah,
case.
you had to wake him up.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
But you are giving me, I ain't gonna lie, I got a lot of motivation for 2 or 3 things. One, Calendar Collective has to go into the commercial space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
One of the things we were gonna do this carnival, which we still may do, we want to do a live calendar music session. That we have people just come in and we do some live ways, we record it. And then that's going to be a thing.
Please.
Right? Second of all, I've also done some music production. I've done some kind of techno dubstep remixes to some stick fight songs as well. So there's that.
That's sweet.
There's a film that we're looking to do. The name of the film is called Bloodline. It's the story of 2 young stick fighters whose father died in the ring, and they try to get revenge on the man who killed their father in the ring.
Stick
2-3
fighting
years.
his life.
You know?
So for life.
So that's that. And then thirdly, the work I've been doing within the community is about understanding the works of, I want to remember his name, Tony Hall. Tony Hall, thank you so much. I love you for that.
Of course.
Tony Hall's works
Visionary.
is about
Yeah,
something called the masking and unmasking, where he talks about when we put on the mask that we actually become our true selves.
Yeah.
And so,
For our listeners, Tony Hall, aka Mr. Calabash.
Yeah, from back in the day.
So I feel responsible to kind of carry on that element of his work, because you all see me now, I'm normal fella, but when I go into stick mode, I different. True. You know what I mean? You might need me able to talk to me, to be honest, right? Same thing happens to job players, same thing happens to Moko Jam. We go into a different zone. Correct. So I want to research what happens when we transform into these people and who we become, and how to take some of the benefits of when we become that into our everyday lives. Because I'm, as a stick fighter,
restorative justice, things like remediation, things like conflict resolution,
and fearlessness, as well as,
we absolutely
moving in a space with greater agency. We become these things, become more agency-filled agents.
Sure.
You know, if I in my stick mode, I do not care who you are.
Yeah, different ball game.
I literally do not care. You could have 10 guns.
My plug is that our culture is our identity.
It's also our healing.
It's our healing.
It's our healing. It's our
we need
what
is within
is
our
there.
art.
I see. Okay, so I could literally break calendar stick fighting down into different parts, and each part has things that I need right now. If I'm hungry, I know how to use stick fight for that. If I'm afraid of something, if I need strategy to deal with something in the boardroom, if you know what I mean, it's everywhere. You know, the way we dance and fight is literally everyday life. If something going on in my life right now, I could look at a game or understand a game. It's like chess.
So Corey, I'm going to encourage your readers to listen, to press into your stories, press into your family, hold somebody a little bit closer, ask a question, because you might be surprised at the agency that answer is going to give to you. Kai Miller said to me in the first year of the BCLF in 2019, right where you did the ritual with Mama N2 and Attila, that is our stories that make us as a people. And so I want to suggest to everyone who's listening today that whatever the challenges that you're facing, whatever the mountain in front of you is, that you simply have to cast your eyes towards somebody before you, somebody older than you, somebody in your lineage, somebody in your family and they're going to give you the seed of wisdom or a nugget of a story that can help you through what you're going through.
It's facts. And it's no coincidence that we're together here today. All of us doing our part to document this thing and make this thing.
When you rain, you pour.
Yeah, for sure. Well, fuel. Fueled by good spirits, right? Good spirits around the table and on the table. You cannot go wrong, right? So I want to thank you all for coming together. Thank you all for listening. Thank everybody for being here. Keegan gave me something new. And one of my biggest fears in stick fight is every kind of fighting I have in my life. It's a heavyweight and lightweight and featherweight. And Keegan says stick fight and none of that. He say, no boy man no afraid, no boy man no afraid, no boy man no afraid, no boy man, any boy man could kill any boy man. Let me say,
no boy man no afraid,
no boy man no afraid, no boy man,
no boy man afraid, no stick man, no boy man afraid, no demon,
no boy man no afraid, no boy man no afraid, no boy man, no boy man no afraid, no boy man, no boy man no afraid, no boy man no afraid, no boy man no afraid, no boy man no afraid. No boy man could kill any boy man.
This woman coming back for the carnival in 2025. And I know I want to stick around, so I have to stay alive. Because I want to see she come back down and forget that swan song. Because this in Trinidad is where Marsha belongs.
No boy man no afraid. No boy man no afraid. No boy man no afraid. No stick man. Kill any boy man.
I feel like if a one-way ticket back.
I told you we're gonna get her back, guys.